Hello there, everybody, and I hope everybody's doing well and got off to a new year and you survived and cleaned up all whatever you have, and the tree is gone. Maybe, perhaps, could be, unless you want it. And I just hope things are working out because we're actually starting like the second week of January. Can you believe? But time does go by quickly, right? Today is sort of going to be a couple of quotes, but I'm going to do it ever so slightly differently. But let's just get started with the idea that I suspect that many of you are probably really happy that the holiday bustle is all over and done with. And maybe if you've got children, that they're back at school and that you're back into a schedule of some sort so that you kind of know what's going on and you have, relatively speaking anyway, a chance to breathe. Now, maybe some of you have taken and made made some New Year's resolutions, maybe not. Maybe you decided you thought about it but didn't. Maybe you did and they're already broken. But what I'd like to kind of get you to think about is, what if you sort of like start thinking about this new year differently than you've probably thought about it in the past? My guess is that you're partially looking at this new year hoping that things are going to be better, but you suspect at the same time that it's going to be the same thing as it's always been. That's not necessarily true. And I'm hoping to get you to start thinking about the new year and your abilities and your thoughts and from a slightly different perspective, and to take, as I said, a gentle beginning into the new year. So let me do the first quote first from Mary Ann. I'm hoping it's Rodmacher. If I'm saying this incorrectly, somebody please let me know. I'm not sure how to say it, that last name, to make sure that I pronounce it correctly. She's an American American author and artist. I tried to make the two into one word there. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. Think about that. Doesn't that somewhat fit most of our days? We go through and get up in the morning and think that we're going to get X, Y, and Z done, and maybe we get some of it done. X, maybe, possibly Y, but probably never get down to Z. And sort of like, what's the use? What am I trying? But if you keep going and you keep thinking and you keep trying, isn't that courage? Because you're giving yourself some belief that tomorrow's going to be another day and that you'll possibly be able to do one step more, and just think about it and keep going. Because in a sense, some of the people that you may have known who have, if you've known anyone who's committed suicide, they didn't think that they had the courage or the ability or the desire to keep going. If you keep going, that takes some degree of courage, because you've got to see that tomorrow's another day and you're going to try it, and the idea that you'll keep going and to try and see where you're coming from. Does this make sense? So if you go through your day thinking, what's the point? I can't do anything and nothing's ever going to work. Let's get a little courage and recognize that tomorrow's another day. It, if you really stop to think about it, any moment in time is the new year. In the universe, there is no calendar or no big ball dropping from Times Square. It's just one second after another after another. So you go to any point in the universe and it's a new year. Technically, it's a new year as of right this very second. It's a new year because we're starting a whole new series of time, whatever that may mean for you. So that in one sense, tomorrow is a new day, you're starting a new year, and things can be much better or much worse, but they can still be, in a sense, overall better than what they had before. Does that make sense? Now, if we go into and take a look at Arthur Ashe's quote, he was a tennis player, died really young, but he came from the standpoint of, quote, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. Acknowledging the fact that we can't do everything and we've only got what we've got. So to use what we've got and continue to do it. And if we go in and start the next day, that's in a sense where courage comes from, is it not? So if you do start where you are right now with all the skills you've got, all the memories, all the abilities, the thoughts, whatever you've got, and that includes the negative as well as the positive, that gave you a degree of courage and strength that you have that nobody else has, because you're the only one who's had those experiences, right? So start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. And then if you take Mary Ann's quote, and think in terms about tomorrow being another day. You've got another day, another time to try and keep going with whatever it is that you're trying to do and trying to accomplish. If you're trying to get the house decluttered, if you're trying to raise your children, if you're trying to get a new job, whatever that may be, you've got another chance to do it tomorrow. And that's where the courage comes in. Does that make sense? Now, the other part to it is what I'm trying to get through, my part, the one I'm trying to mention to you, if you will, is to think in terms that in many cases, what happens is you take a look at the day and you decide that I can't do this, I'm going to be, whatever, and you sort of give up on yourself. I'm going to suggest trying to be gentle and taking some time for yourself. You're going to be worn thin about things. We all are at some point in time. So just take a few moments to take a deep breath or several deep breaths and maybe just sit there quietly for someplace. Maybe you have to go in and sit in the bathroom. Maybe you just want to go outside and walk down to the corner, or if you happen to live in a place that's, big wide spaces, go down to the end of the driveway, whatever. Take a few minutes to walk and just walk outside and just enjoy being outside. Maybe if you like to read, just open a magazine, open a book, read a couple of pages. We're not saying read the whole book, read the whole chapter. Just enjoy the reading. Do something that you find enjoyable and relaxing for you. So if you want to just sit there, that's fine. If you have a hobby, well, some hobbies you can't do it. So if you were, say, like getting into pottery, you can't very well go in, as far as I know, because I'm not into pottery, do something, just for 2 or 3 minutes, but maybe to look at something that you would like to do at some point. Something that's going to make you feel somewhat comfortable and that you're paying attention to what you want and what you like. We're talking just a few minutes, 5, 10 minutes most. And then go back, take a deep breath, and go back and start the rest of your day or continue the rest of your day. Take some time for yourself, because I'd be willing to bet that in many cases, what you do is you spend most of your time just, in a sense, running on the treadmill, running like a rat, going around in the cage, running in that hamster wheel. You just keep going and going and going and going. And at the end of the day, you feel as if you may have gotten nothing done or you didn't get anything done for yourself. All I'm suggesting is you take a few minutes, be gentle to yourself, and take some time for you. Try this for a week. See what happens. My guess is that you'll start feeling this a little bit more, that you've got more breathing space, so to speak, if that makes sense. How does it feel? Does anything seem to have changed? Are you looking at your skills or your abilities or yourself any different? Just try it for a while and then let me know. Or let me know how much you can't get it done. But I'm hoping that what you'll do is you'll get this into a practice and take a few minutes to take some time for yourself. Because once you start taking some time for yourself and take a chance to do that breathing and just relaxing and thinking about you and where you want to go, things may start changing. Does that make sense? I hope so. It's, again, remember both of these quotes, but remember Ash's quote: start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, and then you try again tomorrow, because you've got the courage to do it again. Okay? Now, maybe go take a drink of water, take some time for yourself right now while you're listening to me, while you've got it in your head, and then let me know. Is this such a radical idea? Do you do it all the time? You say, I can't do that because I'll never have the time? Let me know. I'd be willing to bet you can make the time to do this once you decide that that's what you want to do. Let's try a new year with a gentle beginning. Okay? We'll chat with you later. Bye.